there.
All right. Yeah, I just got something. Okay, so going back to what we were talking about, you asked me. I said I'm very excited to be here. I said the last couple of months has been very interesting, to say the least. Moving here and trying to get a football team ready, an offensive football team ready to partake into a season, and obviously not having spring. The summer was, everybody was pretty much at home, kind of doing their own thing, and getting guys back. And then, we obviously ran in a little stretch there with some clusters where we had to slow things down and not practice a couple of times. So it's been interesting. It's been very challenging, but it is what it is, and we got to continue to just keep working.
Aaron Beard, what you got?
Hey, Tim. Aaron Beard with the Associated Press. We talked by phone in preseason, so it was good to see you in person for the first time. I was curious how much you think, now that you're through camp or, into more season prep, how much you think that you guys might have been set back, and how much, maybe did you make up any setbacks you did through camp?
Yeah, that's a great question. We did have some setbacks, obviously, with the virus, but I feel like our players have been pretty resilient. And so is the staff, meaning, we've continued to coach them online as best we could, always creating video for them to, learn from. So, I think memory wise, there's not issues. Like, I don't feel a lot of busted assignments that way. Now, guys that have been quarantined or for one reason or the other that come back, there's some rust to them, obviously, and you have to shake that rust off. And the good part is we feel like most everybody, we've kind of went through that hit that most of these programs go through. So getting everybody back is good, and you can see the transition and the it's all coming back. It's like riding a bike. It's starting to come back to some of these guys, and you can see that transition in the last couple of days.
Thank you.
Mike Toper.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you. Over the past few years, Coach Doran had preached offensively the balance between run and pass and really maintaining that. As you've gone through camp and look towards the first game, are you still maintaining that, or has the offense become a little more wide open, or what can we kind of expect?
Every day I kind of have a plan. There's certain things I want to work on that day. Some certain things we're going to need down the road, maybe, whether it's formations, personnel. Might be a day where we're going to throw it a lot. You want to see how the quarterbacks and receivers handle a day. It might be a day we're going to run a lot. So we're going to maintain balance and try to keep people off balance defensively. And we're going to go where they're not. Try to keep the game simple and let our kids play fast and play hard.
Sammy Batten.
Yeah, Tim, you got a pretty well-stocked tight end room there. Are all three of those upperclassmen guys, are they similar guys or different? And do you see possibilities of getting more than one of them on the field at a time this year?
Yeah, I'm really impressed. I love the way, those guys work. Coach Goebel's done a great job with those guys. They work hard. I have confidence in all of them. Like, I think all of them could do everything that we asked them to do offensively in this system. So there hasn't been conversations at all. This guy can't do this, or this guy does this. Do each one of them possess a specific trait that might help them, or that they're a little better than the other guy? Yeah, maybe. But, there's been a lot of improvement in that room, and good leadership in that room and work ethic. So I'm pleased with that. And yeah, there could be opportunities where you might see more than one.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jonas, what you got?
Hey, Coach, how are you? Good. I wanted to ask first two questions. First, I wanted to ask about Devin, because you guys had, obviously your spring was cut short and camp's been kind of like condensed. Does he have the full playbook in front of him, or are you still just kind of feeding to him in pieces at this point? And then my second question is about the running backs. There's so many different talented guys in those rooms. Like, what separates one guy from the next? And like, how do you choose to go with? You go with the hot hand, or you go who's having a good day because you have so many talented guys to pick from in the running back room?
Okay, well, I'll answer the first one. With Devin and really Bailey, Ben, all those guys, they have the whole playbooks at their disposal right now. So we've been able to get everything in that we really need to get in. And as we work through our offense and we go through our practices, we find out, some things they can handle, some things they can't handle. And so it's my job to figure out what those are. And if it's a necessity, how do we fix that? And if we don't, then we just throw it out. So that's the beauty of being multiple. When it comes to the running backs, obviously, I've always been a guy, I value Coach Roper. He's been a very successful coordinator and football coach over many years. I value his decision-making, just like Coach McDonald at receiver and, all of them. They'll have a feel of who to get in and when to get in. There'll be certain times we want certain guys in, but for the most part, I've got a lot of confidence in, there's 4 or 5 of those guys that can get in the game and play and do everything that we need them to do. There's not one guy that showed us he can't do this, and let's make sure he's not in the game when that happens. We're going to run our offense and those guys, and we've done a good job. Coach Rope's done a good job of making sure they've all gotten reps and rolled in and out. Because again, in this unique season that we're in, who knows? You might have 3 of them get COVID and you're down to 2 guys. So that's been a tremendous change from a lot of places that I've been and over the years, and probably many coaches tell you, this is a year where you got to have a lot of guys ready to play.
Thanks, Coach.
Justin Williams, what do you have?
Hey, Coach. Thanks for meeting with us this afternoon.
Sure.
As Jonas mentioned, there's a lot of talent in the running back room. Just looking back in your previous history as an offensive coordinator, from 2011 to 2015, you were at least at 60% run percentage in terms of the play calling. And at Texas, it was a little bit more 50-50 with the run pass. How do you foresee, your first year going in terms of a run pass division with the talent in the running back room this year?
Yeah, certainly. The biggest thing to all that is who are the people, right? What are you good at, right? And what are they giving you? It's easy to say you got a lot of running backs, just run them. I know if they're playing 9-man box, it's hard to do that, right? Consistently. And you have to have every single guy make those blocks. So we're going to do what the defense gives us first and foremost, with keeping that in mind with our best players. So over the years, earlier, yeah, we were a good run team. When you have guys like Rex Burkhead and Amir Abdullah and Zeke Elliott, you're probably going to be a higher run percentage team than you are in throwing the football. So you based your offense on what you're good at, your skill sets you have, but then also what the defense does. And that's first and foremost. And I think all our players value that, because when we function offensively and we execute, they're all going to get their touches. It's all just going to happen. It's kind of the way the offense is built. So as long as we continue to operate and execute at that level, we'll be in a good position. Ideally, you like to be 50-50. You like to keep defenses off balance and have them to play both. So ideally, you like to try to do that, but in the end, you got to do what they give you, and you got to find ways to win the game.
And just a quick follow-up, I know from watching some of your past tape that you like to get the backs involved in the pass game. Is there any guy in particular in the running back room that you see, being pretty explosive in terms of getting some receptions this year?
Again, I feel good with all those guys. It's interesting from the fastest guy back there. If you say it's Jordan to the shiftiest guy, or the biggest guy, which might be Trent. All of them have been very efficient for us so far in spring and fall and in our camp. So, I feel there's never a guy I look out there like, oh no, we're throwing the ball to this guy. They've done a great job, again, improved their hands. They're able to catch a football and make plays in space.
Thanks for that, Coach.
Sure.
Corey Smith.
Hey, Coach Beck. First of all, when it comes to the wide receiver core, last year was a bit of a down year for that unit. How much have you seen, especially some of the seniors, take onus of that, but also some of the younger players stepping into those roles, guys like we've seen Chris Scott and Anthony Smith, as well as Porter Rooks back in the spring, stepping up for that wide receiver core too.
Right. So, it's great having CJ back. He brings leadership, experience. And Mecca and Thayer have been awesome. Those guys have set the work ethic. They're veteran guys, very crafty. They get the game. And they work really hard at it. We've had some young players step up, right, in terms of even some players that have been here that have stepped up and done some good things. And, you had mentioned Porter and Andrew, some of the freshmen, Chris. Those guys are good players as well. It's interesting. They're very fearless. They just come in and just go. They're not overwhelmed or in awe of the big stage. They just come in here and they go really, really hard. And Coach McDonald's done a great job in that room rotation. He's done a great job in that room with developing those young players, keeping the leadership, pushing those young guys, but also pushing each other. And there's a lot, Devin Carter too is another guy I forgot. But, those guys it's a very consistent group. I feel really good about a lot of those guys. It's the same thing. One thing on offense I feel like we have is we have depth. There's a lot of guys in that room, just like the running back room, that you feel good about playing. And that's gonna be able to do what we need them to do and do it at a high level.
Thank you.
Sure.
Brett Friedlander. Brett?
Given the fact that you're just getting to know the players and the players are just getting to know the offense, how difficult of an install has this been?
I don't think the install in itself is difficult. I just think the process of installing it has been difficult because you're on again, off again. It's Zoom meetings to walkthroughs to practice. So it's just been that. I think our players and coaches have done a great job. I think the resiliency of those guys, our players, just coming in every day, taking it as like, okay, what do we got to do today? Oh, we got to Zoom. Okay. And they've held each other accountable. They want to win. They want to work. They work really hard. Our players want to win. And so they're doing all the right things to be able to do that. It's just having the opportunity now to go out and play and then actually do it. And that's right now. All the coaches are excited to have the opportunity to get to play somebody new and go out there and see how our guys do.
All right, Alex Sawyer, you want to wrap this up?
Yeah. Hey, Coach. You guys have quite a bit of depth and experience on that offensive line. How good has the competition been in that group so far? And also just how much more confidence does that give the offense as a whole to know that those guys up front are going to do their jobs?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I love that group up there, man. You got some great veteran leadership. You've got some extremely talented young players. It's a great mix, kind of like we are offensively. You got good leadership across the board. And you got a great mix of young players all across the board. And, I know Joe and Gibby's have taken the leadership role above and beyond and have done a great job in doing that. I'm really pleased with that group. And I think, the experience that they have, they've all played. There's a lot of guys that have played for us up front. I think that experience, I think the offense for these guys, learning it, feeling good about it. I think that combination shows a lot more confidence in the whole offense. I think everybody right now feels that. I think there's a sense of excitement to get out and actually go do our thing and to be able to play fast and play physical and do what we do best.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Coach Beck, I appreciate you. Look, I said 15 minutes are right on the dot, so thank you.
Thanks, Annabelle.